Hello and welcome to this episode of Creating with Howcraft. My name is Denise Yesbach-Moore, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create my citrus sorbet bracelet. The tools and supplies you will need to create this bracelet are chain nose pliers, wire cutters, round nose pliers, an assortment of beads, clasps, jump rings, a little charm, a 2-hole drilled agate slice, this flower connector. You will also need two 28-inch lengths of 4-ply wax linen cording. A complete list of the jewelry making supplies and beads, along with printable PDF instructions, can be found on howcraftcollection.com. Search Citrus Sorbet Bracelet. We're going to start off by connecting our 4mm jump ring to our lobster clasp. This is how you open and close the jump ring. You never pull it apart. So we're just going to open it, grab our lobster clasp, come back in, and close the clasp. Picking up our 2 lengths of 4-ply wax linen cording, we are going to form a needle. We're going to string it probably about 5 or 6 inches. And we are going to form a knot. We're going to pull that tight. The reason why I attached a jump ring onto the lobster clasp is in the future, if your clasp breaks, you can just open the lobster clasp and attach a new clasp. We're going to create these dangles now. So we're going to separate the short ends. We're going to come over and we're going to form an overhand knot. And we're just going to slide that knot down. We're going to pick up a Czech glass bead. We're going to slide that down. And we're going to form another overhand knot. We're just going to slide that knot down. We're going to pick up our wire cutters. We're going to trim that little end. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're forming an overhand knot. We're moving the knot down, eyeballing it, making it approximately the same length as the first knot. We're going to pick up another one of these peachy Czech glass beads. And we are going to form an overhand knot. The reason why I leave a lot of length for this part of the bracelet is that it's really hard to create these knots if the cording is short. So you always want to make sure that you leave some length at the end to create the knots. We're going to come over. And we're just going to trim that end. And I always like to fray my ends. So we're going to come in with our round nose pliers and just separate the cords. Just separating them. And now we have this end of our bracelet ready to string the beads. So we're going to pick up our agate slice And we're going to separate the cords. We're going to place it right there. We're going to grab one end and pass it through. Move that over to the side. And then we're going to come back in with the other end. And we're going to string it through the opposite side. So I'm going to pass that back through. And then we're going to place the cords on each side, and we're going to move the cords down and pull. And then you want to make sure that the bead is exactly in the center of the knot that it's butted up against. So that looks good. We're going to come back in. We're going to pass the cord through that side. Find the end of the other cord. Pass it through the other side. And then we want to make sure that's nice and tight. And we are going to form an overhand knot. So we're just going to bring that around, pull it through, holding those cords tight. We are gently going to move the knot down, and then we're going to pull it tight. Let's attach our flower connector now. Grabbing the ends, we're going to bring them together, form our little needle, and we're going to string our flower connector through, bring it down to the end, and we're just going to form another overhand knot. And we're going to move it gently up till it butts up right up against the other knot. And then we're going to pull it tight. And then we're going to place the cording on the other side. Grab the other end. And we're going to pass it back through the loop. And we're going to pull that tight because we want the cording to be on the back side of the connector. We are going to find the end of the cord, pass it back through the loop, making sure that cording is nice and tight. Wrap the cord around your fingers, pass it back through, and then we're going to form another overhand knot, pulling that down. And there is the beginning of our bracelet. We're now ready to start stringing our beads. So I'm forming the little needle at the end of my cording, and I'm picking up a Czech glass 12mm darker peach coat bead, and I'm just going to string that down. Make sure it's butted up against the knot, and we are going to form an overhand knot. We're just going to move the knot so it butts right up against the bead. finding the end, we are going to string Czech glass amber crackle bead. This one's 10 millimeter. Passing that through, bringing it down to the end. And we're going to form our overhand knot, making sure it's nice and tight. Now we're going to string our Czech glass. This is a darker peach coat Czech glass 10 millimeter bead. We're going to pass that bead through. Bring it down. Wrap the cording around. Pull the cording through. And then we're just going to move that knot down. Now we're going to string a Czech glass 10 millimeter. This one has a coppery hue. Pull that down. Form our little knot by moving it down with our fingers. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now we're going to string the Czech glass topaz 10 millimeter bead. Howcraftcollection.com has an amazing selection of Czech glass beads in a rainbow of colors. We're just moving our knot down. Oops, got stuck there. So let's go through and make sure our needle is nice and pointed. Now we are going to string a Czech topaz crackle 10 millimeter, moving it down. Forming that overhand knot. And our last bead will be the peachy bead. It'll pick up the hues on this side. And we're going to string it down. Form our overhand knot. And move that knot down. Now we're going to pick up our jump ring. This one's about 8 millimeters. And we're going to form an overhand knot around the jump ring. We're just going to move that knot down and pull it nice and tight. Next, we're going to add our little dangle beads. We're going to form our overhand knot. And move it down. Come back over, form our little needle. And we're going to pick up a Czech glass medium amber 8 millimeter bead, string it down. And gently move the knot down. Coming back in, we're going to trim that end. Same thing on the other side. Forming our overhand knot, picking up our Czech glass, medium amber 8mm bead, moving the knot down, trimming that little end, picking up our round nose pliers. We're just going to come in and fray the end. Our bracelet is complete. We have to add our little rose charm. So let's attach our charm. We're going to come back in, open that jump ring. We're going to attach it right over that knot and close the jump ring. And there you have it, how to create my citrus sorbet bracelet. If you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe at Howcraft USA. Follow us on Instagram at Howcraft Collection Beads. Be sure to visit howcraftcollection.com for more DIY projects and all your beading needs. New beads are added each week to the website, and howcraftcollection.com features a fabulous weekly sale. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.